Today, I'm back with another mega physical media unboxing and review for you all. Today, I'm going to be talking about a newly released Scream Factory title on 4K. That's going to be John Carpenter's The Fog. Yes, I'm going to open this one up so you can see the artwork on the disc. Also, I'll let you know some of the special features I checked out on the Blu-ray that I really enjoyed. Also, I'll go over my assessment of the 4K quality in terms of video and audio presentation. Plus, I'll do a quick little review of the movie overall, and then ultimately give my recommendation on if your money is worth this release of The Fog. So let's get right into it. So just taking a look at the slipcover here, I think it's a decent design for the slipcover, but it's not outstanding. I actually really like the steelbook design. I wish I got that one instead, but unfortunately just wasn't at the price I wanted to get it at, so I went with the slipcover because I've never seen this movie. I didn't want to blind buy too expensive. But the slipcover, once again, is just okay. I would say it's pretty average for Scream Factory. Doesn't really catch my attention right away, but it isn't terrible either. It's just kind of in that middle range. Yeah, you get a little bit of fog in there and the ghost and somebody trying to close the door on that ghost monster. But that's about it. So I felt like maybe they could have done something a little bit more. Now, I do like that font style of the title, The Fog. That looks really cool, so I really do like that. The spine is decent enough. Once again, you get that cool font style with The Fog. You can tell it is from Scream Factory. And then, of course, on the back, you get all the specifications there. And I'm not going to go through all the special features on the Blu-ray because there's a ton of them. But a couple of them I really enjoyed were some interviews. I enjoyed the interview with Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis, one of my favorite actresses of all time. Her interview was great just to get her perspective on The Fog, because she really didn't care for the Fog movie. It just isn't her kind of movie, but to hear her talk about it was just awesome. And then she doesn't only talk about The Fog, she actually talks about other John Carpenter movies that she worked on and just some other movies she's been in. So I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Also, I checked out an interview with the cinematographer who not only talked about The Fog, but also talked about other John Carpenter projects they worked on. So that was really cool as well. So that was the only couple interviews I checked out there, but there was definitely some more featurettes right there, making of The Fog, and those look to be jam-packed with, tons of minutes of bonus features, tons of trailers and TV spots to check out. You get a bunch of commentaries in here. I mean, really, this is jam-packed full with tons of bonus features for really big The Fog fans. I mean, Scream Factory usually always does a great job. For this, in terms of special features, I would say this is an awesome job. Fantastic right here. So definitely tons to dive into with that. Now, in terms of presentation here with the 4K, now I thought it was actually well done enough. I didn't think it was outstanding, but here you get a 4K restoration done by Studio Canal, so that's really awesome. Studio Canal often does a great job. Plus, you get a new Dolby Atmos track, and the score here sounds amazing. So this movie sounded incredible on the 4K disc. I mean, it's almost worth it just for that Dolby Atmos track. Also, they have a new mono track in there, so you can change up the audio tracks if you want to, but that Dolby Atmos just sounds so good. So yeah, definitely well done job by Scream Factory compiling this all together. Now, I wasn't blown away by the 4K visual presentation of this movie. I thought it was solid. I thought it was well done, but I just wasn't blown away by it. Now, to me, I saw a lot of film grain in the movie, but I mean, that's how the movie was shot. Just my personal preference. I'm not a huge fan of a ton of film grain. And this movie, you could just see a ton of film grain. So it was a little bit tougher to see the sharp 4K details on some of the characters and people in this movie, just because you got a lot of film grain. Also, there's a lot of foggy scenes because that's the movie The Fog. So that's covering up a lot of people and characters. and then also a lot of night scenes as well. So film grain, night scenes, fog. It's tough to see a lot of things in this movie, but I mean, that's how the movie was shot. That's how it was designed. It just, I wanted to see more of the characters, those sharp 4K details, because when you can see the characters, oh yeah, 4K looks very sharp, looks quite solid. But it's just, the movie that gives us those circumstances where it's a little bit tougher to see things, just in my personal preference, but some people may really like all the film grain and all of that. But yeah, I thought 4K visual was solid, didn't blow me away, but audio, once again, that Dolby Atmos track, fantastic. So pretty happy with the 4K presentation on this one. But let's open this one up to see what the discs look like on the inside. So, Scream Factory, is either usually hit or miss with the disc. So let's take a look at these ones. Now, I think I like the 4K design better than the Blu-ray here. But once again, they're both kind of tough to see because of the fog. But once again, that's the movie, so I get it. But I don't know, I would have gone with something else for the Blu-ray for sure. The fog, 4K, that looks okay, but once again, not blown away by it. I think I've seen a lot better Scream Factory designs for their disc and front covers. So in terms of design packaging here, I will say once again, kind of average in the middle, just nothing super outstanding, unfortunately. But now just to go over a quick little review here. For my first time watch of this movie actually was on the 4K disc, so you know what, I didn't have anything to compare it to in terms of a Blu-ray or a DVD, but for my first time watch of this movie, you know what, I thought it was decent, but it's probably my least favorite John Carpenter movie I've seen so far. Now, I've only seen about 6 John Carpenter movies, but this would probably be at the bottom of my list, just because I didn't find the story overly compelling or the characters overly intriguing. You know what? It's a ghost tale kind of story. It's not really a slasher story or something more thought-provoking than that, because I really like some of John Carpenter's other movies that do get a little bit more thought-provoking. So yeah, this movie, I don't know, just wasn't my style, just for my personal preference. So I thought it was decent. I enjoyed watching it at least one time. I'll probably watch it again in the future. I definitely want to give it another chance, but it's not going to be that John Carpenter movie I'm watching every October. There's a whole bunch of other John Carpenter movies I would want to watch again before this one. But once again, not a terrible movie. It definitely has its merits. The score is fantastic, but I mean, it's a John Carpenter movie. It's expected for the score to be great. But yeah, it's definitely excellent here. Sounds awesome. Very atmospheric. So I did kind of like that style with the fog for it creating that kind of creepy atmosphere. But once again, then it does cover up a lot of people and characters, so it's tougher to see things in the movie. So it has a lot of pros and cons. So once again, just isn't one of my favorite John Carpenter movies, but definitely has some great things about it. Like, you got Jamie Lee Curtis in there. She also has her mom, Janet Leigh, in there. So they're always great to see. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, once again, is one of my favorite actresses of all time. So awesome to see them in another John Carpenter movie. Also, I believe you had another actress that was in Halloween in this movie. I think it was Nancy Loomis, if I'm remembering correctly. So that was really cool as well. So there's definitely some familiar faces here. So the acting talent was there. They all did a serviceable job. To me, I just think what let me down a little bit was just the story. To me, it was just kind of a simple ghost tale story. Didn't really give me much more to digest than that. But maybe if I watch it again, I'll find something different about it, and I hope it does improve over time. But I know some people really like this one. Just once again, I thought it was solid. Not one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. But let's get into my recommendation on if you should buy this movie from the Scream Factory release of this one, because now it's on 4K. Is it worth it? Well, I think it's worth it if you don't own this movie at all to get it in the best presentation possible, especially just for that Dolby Atmos soundtrack. I would go for it. I believe it's at $27.99. I think that's standard Scream Factory price still. If you want to get the Steelbook, you're just going to pay more, but that design's really cool, so you may want to check that out if you're a big steelbook collector. If you can still even order that one, I don't know if they're all sold out. They might be. But yeah, just to get this movie in the collection, because, you know, it's a John Carpenter movie. John Carpenter is my favorite horror director of all time, I believe. So yeah, just to get all the John Carpenter movies on 4K, that's kind of my personal goal. Now, if you're not a big John Carpenter fan, then yeah, this is not going to be the one to win you over. If you're not a horror fan, not going to win you over either. And if you're really just looking for the best horror movies of all time, I feel like I probably want to put that in that category either. The Fog, to me, once again, it's solid, just isn't like my favorite. Not an outstanding horror movie, but once again, that's just my personal opinion. I know some people that really love this one out there. So, worth the money if you're a John Carpenter fan, a horror fan, fan of ghost tales, and you just like the work Scream Factory does, and you're going to really dive into those bonus features, then there's a ton here. It's definitely going to be worth it to you. So leave in the comments below, are you picking up this new Scream Factory 4K release of The Fog? Or have you seen The Fog before, and what did you think of it? Or do you prefer other John Carpenter movies over this one? Let's have this fun movie discussion down below. And if you're visiting the channel for the very first time and you love collecting physical media and being part of this awesome league of mega film fans, make sure you subscribe right now. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all the latest physical media topics.
And I'm inviting you to stay here with me.
And if you enjoyed this physical media topic video, click another video to see more. Also like the video, and this is Mega Mike the Movie Man reminding you to make every day a movie day.